I knew something was off. That kind of success doesn't come naturally. In the bustling town of Onitsha, near the vibrant Osei market, there was a small wooden stall that many locals considered magical. The stall didn't look like much, a simple shack with a coal stove, a frying pan, and a wooden table. But this unassuming setup belonged to Adaobi, a 33-year-old woman whose AKARA had become legendary. Adaobi wasn't just any AKARA seller. She had smooth, dark skin, a striking beauty, and a warm smile that made her instantly likable. But it was her AKARA that made her a household name. Golden brown, crispy on the outside, and soft on the inside, her AKARA had a taste that people swore was unmatched. The aroma alone was enough to draw crowds. Every morning, the streets near Adaobi's stall were alive with chatter and excitement. Taxi drivers, students, market women, and even wealthy businessmen in flashy cars lined up for her AKARA. It's not normal for AKARA to taste this good, people often joked. She must be adding something special. Adaobi would only smile at these remarks, neither confirming nor denying them. She just kept frying, her calm demeanour and flawless work winning everyone's admiration. By 6 a.m, Adaobi's stall was always buzzing. The line of customers stretched far down the street. People laughed, chatted, and occasionally argued while waiting for their turn. One particular morning, tempers flared when two men argued over who had arrived first. "Don't jump the line," shouted a man in a faded shirt. "I've been here since 5:30. Who cares?" "You should learn patience," the other man retorted. Just as it seemed the argument would escalate, Adaobi stepped in. Her voice, calm but firm, cut through the noise. "Please, no fighting," she said, smiling as she flipped a fresh batch of AKARA. "There's enough AKARA for everyone. Just be patient." The men grumbled but fell back in line. Adaobi had a way of diffusing tension, and the crowd respected her authority. To them, she wasn't just an AKARA seller. She was part of their community, someone they trusted. One morning, the usual hum of activity was interrupted by the arrival of a sleek black SUV. The shiny car stopped right in front of Adaobi's stall, drawing everyone's attention. The windows rolled down, revealing none other than Chief Chukweje, one of Onitsha's wealthiest men. "Ah, the chief is here again," someone whispered. "Imagine that! A man of his status buying AKARA like the rest of us," another customer marvelled. Ignoring the line, Chief Chukweje stepped out, dressed in a pristine traditional outfit. He walked straight to Adaobi and handed her a wad of cash. "Adaobi," he announced, "give me AKARA worth 20,000 naira and share the rest with the people here." The crowd erupted in surprised chatter. 20,000 naira on AKARA? Even the wealthiest customers were stunned. Adaobi's smile widened as she accepted the money. "Thank you, Chief," she said, quickly packing his order. As the AKARA was distributed among the waiting customers, the atmosphere became festive. People couldn't stop talking about the gesture and speculating about Adaobi. "This AKARA must have a secret," one man said, shaking his head. "What else could make someone spend this much?" "Maybe it's charms," someone joked, prompting nervous laughter. Adaobi didn't respond to the whispers. She just kept working, her calm confidence only adding to her allure. One fateful day, something strange happened. By 6 a.m, Adaobi's stall was still closed. The usual crowd of early risers stood around, confused. "Where's Adaobi?" a young woman asked, looking around. "Maybe she's sick," another customer speculated. "Or maybe her beans finished," someone joked, though their tone betrayed concern. As the hours passed, the confusion deepened. By noon, most of the crowd had dispersed, and rumours began to spread. "She never misses a day," an elderly man said. "Something must be wrong." When Adaobi returned the next morning, her customers surrounded her with questions. "Adaobi, where were you? We almost starved yesterday," one man exclaimed. Adaobi laughed lightly, brushing off their concerns. "I had something important to handle," she said vaguely. "Everything is fine now." Her explanation left many unsatisfied, but once the familiar smell of frying AKARA filled the air, The crowd's worries disappeared. The line reformed and business resumed as usual. Not everyone celebrated Adaobi's success. On the same street, Mama Enkay, another AKARA seller, had been losing customers ever since Adaobi arrived. Once a local favourite, Mama Enkay now watched her stall grow emptier by the day. One afternoon, driven by jealousy, Mama Enkay stormed over to Adaobi's stall. Her wrapper tied tightly around her waist, she stood in front of the crowd, her face flushed with anger. "Adaobi!" she shouted. "Do you think we don't know what you're doing? Your AKARA isn't ordinary. You must be using something to charm these people." The crowd fell silent, their eyes darting between the two women. Adaobi, unfazed, looked up from her frying pan. "Mama Enkay," she said calmly, "if your AKARA isn't selling, maybe it's because you're not using good oil." The crowd burst into laughter, but Mama Enkay wasn't amused. "You can laugh now," she said angrily, "but one day the truth will come out." With that, she stormed off, leaving Adaobi to continue serving her customers as if nothing had happened. A week later, drama unfolded at Adaobi's stall. A group of police officers, accompanied by community elders, arrived unannounced. They accused her of using unnatural means to attract customers, a rumour that had been spreading since Mama Enkay's outburst. The crowd quickly gathered, and Adaobi's loyal customers rushed to her defence. "This is jealousy," one man shouted. "They can't stand her success." "Leave her alone," another woman added. "Her AKARA is just good, that's all." Despite the protests, the officers searched Adaobi's stall. When they found nothing incriminating, they reluctantly left. Adaobi smiled as she watched them go, her confidence unshaken. "Thank you all for your support," she said to her customers. "This is just a small challenge. They can't bring me down." The crowd cheered, and Adaobi's stall grew even more popular after the incident. As Adaobi's fame continued to grow, she hired 2 assistants to help with the increasing demand. One of them, Amaka, was a bright and curious teenager from the neighbourhood. One evening, as Amaka cleaned up after work, she noticed a small container hidden under the counter. It looked out of place, and her curiosity got the better of her. When she opened it, the sight of the thick, dark red liquid inside made her stomach churn. "What is this?" Amaka whispered, her heart pounding. Frightened, she closed the container and decided to confide in her mother. Together, they reported their findings to the community elders, setting the stage for a dramatic revelation. When news of Amaka's discovery spread through the neighbourhood, whispers and speculation followed. The once busy streets around Adaobi's stall were now filled with hushed conversations. "What could it be?" an elderly trader asked. "Didn't I say something was strange about her AKARA?" Mama Enkay chimed in loudly, seizing the opportunity to fan the flames of gossip. "Nobody listened to me then." Some customers refused to believe the rumours. "Adaobi isn't capable of such a thing," one man argued. "She's just successful. People can't stand her progress." Others were less forgiving. "If she's innocent, why is she hiding things under her counter?" someone retorted. The debate went back and forth, but the air was heavy with suspicion. The community elders called a meeting to address the growing unrest. They summoned Adaobi to the town hall, where residents gathered to hear the truth. The usually confident Adaobi appeared calm, though her expression was unreadable. The head elder, Pa Ejike, stood and cleared his throat. "Adaobi," he began, his voice grave, "we have heard troubling reports about your business. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" Adaobi met his gaze, her voice steady. "Elders, I have nothing to hide. I work hard to make my AKARA, and the people love it. That is all." Amaka, sitting beside her mother, stood up nervously. "But what about the container under the counter?" she blurted out. "I saw it. It had something strange inside." Adaobi turned to Amaka, her eyes sharp. "What you saw is none of your business," she said coolly. "I have my secret ingredients just like any good cook. That doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong." The crowd murmured, divided between loyalty to Adaobi and suspicion. Sensing the tension, Pa Ejike called for calm. "We will investigate this matter thoroughly," he announced. "If there is nothing to hide, Adaobi will have nothing to fear." The next morning, the elders, along with the police, returned to Adaobi's stall. This time they conducted a more thorough search. Adaobi stood quietly as they rummaged through her belongings, her face expressionless. Then they found it, the small container that Amaka had described. "What is this?" one officer demanded, holding up the container. Adaobi's calm demeanor finally cracked. It's just herbs," she stammered, "for the AKARA. It's nothing harmful." But the officers weren't convinced. They took the container away for testing, leaving Adaobi behind as the crowd erupted in speculation. "She's finished," someone whispered. "This is what happens when you try to outshine everyone else." Adaobi said nothing, but her once confident aura was gone. The results from the container came back within days. The elders revealed the findings during another town meeting. Pai Jike's face was grim as he addressed the crowd. "After thorough testing," he said, "it has been confirmed that the liquid found in Adaobi's stall is human menstrual blood." The announcement sent shockwaves through the room. Gasps and cries of disbelief filled the air. "It's true," the elder continued, his voice heavy. "She has been using it as part of a ritual to keep her customers addicted to her AKARA." Adaobi stood up abruptly, her voice trembling with anger. "This is a lie," she shouted. "I've done nothing wrong. They're just jealous of my success." But the evidence was undeniable. Further investigations uncovered other disturbing details. Witnesses came forward, claiming they had seen Adaobi visiting a secluded shrine late at night. A local herbalist admitted that she had purchased ingredients from him for years. As the backlash grew, Adaobi realized her days in Onitsha were numbered. Late one night, she packed a small bag and slipped out of her house, hoping to leave town unnoticed. But her escape didn't go as planned. A group of youths who had been keeping watch spotted her and quickly alerted the community. "She's running away," one of them shouted. Before Adaobi could reach the outskirts of town, a crowd had gathered to stop her. They cornered her near the marketplace, their faces filled with anger and betrayal. "Where are you going, Adaobi?" someone demanded. "You think you can just leave after what you've done?" Adaobi dropped her bag and fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please," she begged. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was only trying to survive." But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The crowd handed her over to the police, who took her into custody once again. The news of Adaobi's arrest spread far beyond Onitsha, and her once glorious reputation crumbled completely. Her stall, once the heart of the bustling street, was abandoned. People who had once admired Adaobi now spoke of her with disgust. "How could she do such a thing?" a trader asked, shaking her head. "We trusted her." "I knew something was off," another customer muttered. "That kind of success doesn't come naturally." Even her most loyal customers felt betrayed. "I can't believe I used to eat her AKARA every day," a taxi driver said, shuddering. "It makes me sick just thinking about it." Adaobi's downfall had a lasting impact on Onitsha. It was rumoured that all who had tasted her AKARA would die within a year as the ultimate prize for the ritual. The elders organised cleansing rituals to restore the community's sense of purity. Religious leaders used her story as a warning, preaching about the dangers of greed and the consequences of deceit. Amaka, the young girl who had uncovered the truth, became a local hero. People praised her bravery. Over time, life in Onitsha returned to normal, but the memory of Adaobi lingered. Years later, a new AKARA seller set up shop near the old location of Adaobi's stall. Her AKARA was good, crispy, fresh and satisfying, but it lacked the legendary status of the AKARA Queen's infamous recipe. As people enjoyed their meals, they occasionally shared stories about Adaobi, their voices filled with a mix of fascination and disbelief. It's a lesson for all of us. No matter how sweet something seems, you must always question the price. Adaobi's story serves as a reminder. Success built on deceit cannot last. If you enjoyed our story, kindly like and subscribe for more intriguing stories to come.